Ever since news broke about the PBC and DAZN partnership, I've been seeing the same talking points repeated over and over. PBC used Tank Davis as a pawn. They had no choice. They surrendered. They bent the knee to Turkey. They had to cave. But here's my question. Where's the evidence? Because I'm looking at the actual reporting, this actual article right here that Brunch Boxing wrote. I'm going to leave a link in the description below if you want to go check it out and read it. And some of these conclusions don't match nothing, none of the facts that's in this article. Some people are treating the speculation like it's a confirmation. But today, I want to break down a few of these claims, separate what's actually being reported from what's being assumed, and explain why I think a lot of people are getting ahead of themselves. Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm Tay, and this is our 2 cents, where we talk everything and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. In today's video, we will be discussing the new historic partnership between the Zone and PBC. But before we do that, make sure you punch that like and subscribe button, and make sure you let me know and drop it below your 2 cents as we go throughout the video. So, this is my thing, right? The article dropped, and then all of a sudden, the narrative start getting spent about PBC and the Zone joining together as if it were something negative. And I'm just like, why is everything that has to do with PBC or PBC fighters? It seems as though it kind of has to be spun into a negative narrative. I read this article, and you can go check out my 2 cents after dark live. I read this article. I read through the whole article because I broke this news on 2 cents after dark because I was just scrolling through X and I seen it. And so I read it, I clicked, I read the article to the 2 centers, and I said, here's the information. I don't want you going through the YouTube streets and people being able to misinform you. So here's the information. Here's what is said in the article about the deal. And what it says in the article about the deal is basically PBC is going to add the Zone to what they already got going on. So that means that they're still with Amazon. They're just adding the Zone to what they already got going on. And they're going to do events in September, October, November, and December. They're going to do special events on the Zone. They're already starting off with Earl Spence and Tim Zoo, and also Rolly Romero and Teofimo Lopez. Those are going to be two of those quote unquote premium events that they're going to be broadcasting on the Zone. And they also said that Gervonta Tank Davis is not included in the deal. Not that he won't fight on the Zone, but that if he do fight on the Zone, there's going to have to be additional negotiations to take place. So out of those facts, people came up with these narratives that, oh, PBC is using Tank as a pawn. So the report says Tank isn't part of the initial agreement. It says any Tank event requires a separate negotiation. So how does this automatically equal that Tank is being used as a pawn? Keeping your biggest attraction separate can also be a negotiating strategy. Like, they already got the deal and Tank is not included in it. So how is he a pawn? How is he a pawn? What did they didn't need Tank. If they want to work with Tank, they got to negotiate a whole separate deal. So how is he a pawn? Let me know and drop it below your 2 cents. How is he a pawn? And then you people saying, oh well, you see that they finally had to bend the knee to Turkey and go work with Turkey. The article don't say the article. This article does not mention Turkey's name not one time. And people want to say, oh well, Turkey owns the Zone. Just because Turkey has an investment and a stake in the Zone, that don't mean that people coming to the Zone are just bending the knee to Turkey. It's a whole broadcast network. It's a network. A lot of promotional companies have switched over and are now broadcasting on the Zone because the landscape of boxing has changed. Fighting on networks and all of that stuff, it ain't the same no more. People are trying to get their sports onto apps. The Zone is an app. So they decided to add an additional revenue stream by placing fights on the Zone, an app. It has nothing to do with Turkey. It doesn't make any sense. They still have Amazon. They added the Zone. That's expanding distribution, not necessarily giving up control. So what you think that they're gonna be on the Zone and then Turkey gonna be telling Al Heyman them what to do? Like I'm not understanding why people doing basic business is somehow surrendering to y'all. Surrendering to certain people. I don't know, but let's keep going. PBC has no money. The Amazon deal didn't have no money. It was just a distribution deal. Listen, PBC has been broke for decades. They've been running out of money since they started business. So when people say PBC is running out of money, I don't even dispute or try to pay attention to that fact anymore, because for them to continuously be running out of money, they continuously keep getting new deals. So they obviously operate very well under the stress of running out of money. It just proves that, in my opinion, PBC is trying to expand. They're trying to have more avenues in order to showcase their fighters. That's all the PBC and the Zone deal means to me, in my opinion. Um, if the deal leads to more fights, bigger budgets, and more fight dates, I mean, it leads to more fight dates, bigger budgets, and better fights. That means that PBC is growing and they're evolving, they're expanding, right? Wouldn't that mean that they're expanding? And I think the fact that for them to work with Gervonta Tank Davis, they have to negotiate a whole nother deal. I think that that's a big deal. Now, I could see how some people could say, oh, maybe they didn't include taking the deal because it's too much uncertainty there. He got a lot going on. Could be a possibility too. But I think that Gervonta Tank Davis is like a big leverage bargaining chip that they have. And it's like Tank is cool. He over here on his own. This is who he, I mean, on Amazon. This is who he is. Now, if you want Tank to come off of Amazon, you probably finna have to pay him some guap, pay him some big bread. Y'all heard the money that was rumored he was alleged to get against Jake Paul, and he was going over there to fight on Netflix, and people was trying to make that seem like it was a bad thing. Oh, he bent the knee to Jake Paul. He bent the knee to Jake Paul. But you don't know what these guys' contracts are and what type of money people have to put up in order to get these caliber of fighters on their networks. You see what they're paying other fighters that's not even Gervonta Tank Davis's stature. So you could just imagine how if they was going to negotiate a deal to get a fight on their network, what that might be looking like. So I just want to come and give my 2 cents real quick, because I didn't really understand how anybody could like spin this and turn this into to something crazy. Like, it's okay to criticize PBC. It's okay to question the deal, but let's criticize what we know, not what we assume. And too many of these content creators take one fact, add three opinions, and suddenly it's treated like it's breaking news. But anyway, let me know what you think by dropping your 2 cents below in the comments. And let me ask y'all this real quick. If Tank Davis is your biggest draw, are you putting him in the first deal, or are you negotiating him separately to maximize his value? Well, let me know what you think by dropping your 2 cents below in the comments. Follow me on X at 2cents20. Follow me on IG at 2cents boxing. I'm Jay, and stay tuned for my 2 cents in the next video.